Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, and today we're back here on Black Ops 4. I have another quick video for you guys today because we have some updates in regards to the black market, and we also have an official statement from Treyarch regarding the 20Hz servers and all the backlash that they have been receiving. So let's kick things off with that. Yesterday, Treyarch decided to update Black Ops 4 yet again. It was a small update, which is why I didn't cover it here on the channel. It basically fixed a couple of bugs and added some general stability, but in the patch notes, Treyarch made their statement about the network performance, or lack thereof, that we find here in Black Ops 4. Here's the official statement. I'll have a link to the patch notes also down there in the description, but basically what this boils down to is they claim the reason why we have 20Hz servers for both Blackout and multiplayer at launch is because they want the game to be stable. They also claim that over the course of the next couple of weeks, they will be rolling out a bunch of updates which will improve the network connection, and they've reassured us that Black Ops 4 is going to be the most heavily supported game that they have ever delivered. So there's some good news, I suppose. I mean, the servers themselves are going to be improved over the course of the next couple of weeks, and in fact, we actually saw something similar to this with Modern Warfare Remastered. For those who don't remember, Modern Warfare Remastered had 10Hz servers at launch, which was pretty freaking terrible, but of course that got better over time. But I don't feel as though we can really excuse what Treyarch has done just because it happened in the past with Modern Warfare Remastered. Keep in mind, Modern Warfare Remastered at the time was a side bonus game that you could only purchase with a special edition of Infinite Warfare. It was a remaster of a 10-year-old game that was made by an off-brand studio in the form of Raven Software, whereas Black Ops 4 is the biggest game to release in 2018. They've made over $500 million, and Activision, for crying out loud, I mean, Activision in 2017 made $7 billion in revenue. Over $4 billion of that came straight from in-game purchases and microtransactions, and you're telling me they couldn't afford to give us 60Hz servers at launch? Now, it's entirely possible, guys. Don't get me wrong. It's entirely possible that what Treyarch said was true and that these servers needed to be downgraded for stability reasons. But to my uneducated mind, and probably to most of you guys as well, that really just doesn't make a lot of sense. Like, why would worse servers give us a better experience, especially when pretty much every other game that's come out recently has had 60Hz servers? What makes this even more confusing is the fact that the beta, the Black Ops 4 beta, actually ran at 60Hz. So this almost feels like a bit of a bait and switch for some fans. We had smooth, consistent gameplay during what was intended to be the test period for the game, and now that we're in the full release, our connectivity is 1/3 as good as it was back during that test period. So it really makes no sense to me whatsoever, but rest assured, guys, Treyarch claims that all will be fixed and the servers will be upgraded over the course of the next couple of weeks, which is actually pretty freaking fantastic news. So if you're enjoying Black Ops 4 as is, like if your gunfights already feel somewhat consistent, you're having fun with the game, it's only going to get better over the next couple of weeks, which is some pretty freaking incredible news. Moving away from the server side of things, however, let's go ahead and talk about the black market and the supply stream battle pass system that was implemented a few days ago. I told you guys in my previous video that Treyarch updated the black market to make it so we could actually progress a little bit faster in the battle pass, but now that we've had that update for a couple of days and we've properly been able to test out the changes, it really does seem like this system is far grindier than what we imagined. Reports are coming in from all over that it still takes players anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour, sometimes an hour and a half or 2 hours to get a single level in the battle pass. I have seen some people say it comes completely down to your time played, but we're really having a hard time confirming that, right? We don't know if it literally comes down to minutes played in game. We don't know how the progression changes between multiplayer and Blackout. We also have no idea if individual skill comes into play whatsoever. All we do know is that at best, at the very best, it takes you about 30 minutes of in-game playtime to get through a single level. Now, without boring you guys too much with all the math, this means that to get to level 200 before the 50 days of the operation runs up, we need to put in at least 100 hours of playtime to unlock everything in Operation First Strike. Keep in mind, that's best case scenario, but it seems like for the vast majority of the community, it's taking much longer than 30 minutes per level. For some people, it's an hour. Other people, it's still closer to 2 hours. And when you look at it that way, we're talking about requiring anywhere from 8 to 16 days of in-game playtime just to complete the first operation before it ends. Now keep in mind, with how Activision has set up the time frame for Operation First Strike, they can fit in 6 more operations into Black Ops 4's first year life cycle, which is absolutely freaking absurd. Even if you are able to complete the entire operation with only 5 days of playtime, and I can't believe I'm saying only 5 days of playtime, we're talking about needing anywhere from 30 to 35 days of playtime throughout the entire year to unlock absolutely everything if they do decide to host operations back to back. Now, of course, we are getting a bit ahead of ourselves here, right? We don't know exactly what they have planned for the future, or how many operations they plan to do, or how long they plan to keep those operations live for, but I'm just saying, based on the information we have so far, that's how things could play out, and I don't think that's how most of us want things to play out, right? It's worth mentioning that Treyarch has said that they will continue to monitor our progress and make changes if needed, but right now, lots of fans are starting to prepare for the worst, which of course would be Activision putting Battle Pass shortcuts into the blackjack market, which is set to come out in November. With COD points still being a complete mystery, lots of fans are speculating that the reason why the Battle Pass takes so long to level up is because Activision plans to allow us to buy tiers of the Battle Pass with COD points, which would basically add a freemium business model to a full-price AAA game. Once again, that's not confirmed. We don't know if that's actually going to happen, but based on the information we have so far, that's what lots of fans think is going to happen, and lots of fans are pretty upset about that. So I feel as though the key to this entire situation is transparency. Activision and Treyarch need to come out and say, look, we're monitoring this entire situation. This is how the system works. This is how long we plan for you to go from level 1 up to level 200, and here are our plans for the future. If they were to simply come out and just say all those things and answer those questions, then everything would make sense. But as of right now, they're being incredibly secretive, just like with COD points, just like with supply drops going forward, just like with the blackjack market. They're not telling us anything, and that's why so many fans are upset. We're worried that history is going to repeat itself here in the Call of Duty franchise. Of course, we are talking about cosmetic-only items here, but remember that Activision has a history of this. They launch pretty much every new COD these days with cosmetic-only content, and then shortly after that, they start adding real weapons and other game-changing content into the mix, and that may happen this time around as well with the new reserve supply drops and the Battle Pass system. We really have no idea. Again, this is all open to interpretation, but that's because there hasn't really been much transparency coming from Activision or Treyarch. What makes this so interesting to me is this entire situation is completely, it's uncharted, right? This is uncharted territory for the Call of Duty franchise, and it's really hard to tell what Activision has planned for us and how things are going to play out. But speaking of those new supply drops, it looks like that Maddox variant that I talked about in my previous video was actually removed. It turns out it was an error or something on the part of Treyarch. To my understanding, if you still have a class with that Maddox variant, you can still use it as long as you don't change that class or prestige, because the moment you do either of those things, you will forever lose that variant of the Maddox, at least as of right now. We don't know if or when that variant is ever going to return. My guess is it was probably a supply drop exclusive variant that was accidentally added to everybody's account with the black market update, but honestly, we really have no freaking idea. It's a really weird situation, and Treyarch has not said one way or the other, but regardless, I figured I should give you guys an update here in this video. Now, speaking of updates, if you're wondering if my opinion of Black Ops 4 has changed ever since my initial first impressions video, it really hasn't. I absolutely love Black Ops 4. I'm loving the multiplayer, I'm loving Blackout, I'm having so much fun with both of those modes. I haven't even tried Zombies yet, and Zombies looks freaking fantastic. Black Ops 4 in general has been really fun for me personally. I don't want to paint the picture here in my videos that I think the game is terrible or anything like that when I'm talking about the bad servers or the incredibly slow battle pass progression or the fact that they gave us a variant then took it away. Like, it seems like I'm being super critical and super negative about Black Ops 4, but believe me when I say I really enjoy this game. When you're making videos like I do where you cover news and updates, not every bit of news is going to be positive, right? You have to take the good with the bad, but in the case of Black Ops 4, we have a lot of good, though unfortunately there's a little bit of bad thrown in there as well, and surprise, surprise, most of the bad is directly tied to Activision. So I wanted to bring that up here at the end of the video, but regardless, ladies and gentlemen, I will always keep you guys posted with more news and more details as they become available. But until then, I hope you guys all enjoyed. Drop me a rating, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.